Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we are continuing to read from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 6, The Killing of the Demon Putana, Text 30. So please repeat after me. Shri Shuka Uvacha Iti Pranaya Bhaddhabhihi Gopibhihi. Oh, sorry. Thank you. So text 31. Tavat Nanda Adayah Gopaha Maturayaha Vrajam Gataha Vilokya Putana Deham Babhuvuhu Ati Vismitaha Tavannandadayo Gopa Maturaya Vrajangataha Vilokya Putana Deham Babhuvur Ativismitaha. Tavat, in the meantime, Nanda Adayah, headed by Nanda Maharaja, Gopaha, all the cowherd men, Maturayaha, from Mathura, Vrajam to Vrindavana, Gataha, came back, Vilokya, when they saw Putana Deham, the gigantic body of Putana lying dead. Babhuvuhu, became Ati, very much, Vismitaha, struck with wonder. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, the founder Acharya of ISKCON. Translation. Meanwhile, all the cowherd men headed by Nanda Maharaja returned from Mathura. When they saw on the way the gigantic body of Putana lying dead, they were struck with great wonder. Purport. Nanda Maharaja's wonder may be understood in various ways. First of all, the cowherd men had never before seen such a gigantic body in Vrindavana. Therefore, they were struck with wonder. Then they began to consider where such a body had come from, whether it had dropped from the sky, or whether by some mistake, or by the power of some mystic yogini, they had come to some place other than Vrindavana. They could not actually guess what had happened, and therefore they were struck with wonder. Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vikas Swaminati Namine Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminati Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Tavan Nandadayo Gopa Maturaya Vrajangataha Vilokya Putana Deham Babhuvur Ativismitaha. Meanwhile, all the cowherd men headed by Nanda Maharaja returned from Mathura, and when they saw on the way the gigantic body of Putana lying dead, they were struck with great wonder. So we are seeing here the amazing pastimes of the Lord, this narrated in this 10th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Right from the first canto, we see many of the narrations that are given in the Bhagavatam are really amazing. It is very thought provoking, and it is making us to really think how wonderful is the Lord, how great is the Lord. And again, in the 10th canto, it builds up very much. So this is very something. This mellows various rasas that we are seeing. So rasa means mellow. So mellow means the Lord's expression towards his devotees, the devotees' reciprocation to the Lord. So everything is very nicely narrated in the scriptures. And we see here in this chapter how the mood of Vatsalya is being seen, how Mother Yashoda is and the other gopis were very much caring for Krishna, and their mood of trying to protect Krishna, that also we saw in quite some verses. And also in today's verse, we are seeing Babuvuhu Ati Vismitaha, that in great wonder, all the Gopas and Nanda Maharaj, when they were returning, they had gone to Mathura. We know, as at the beginning of the chapter, we saw that they went to pay the tax. They also met Vasudeva, and they're on the way back. After Vasudeva said that, hey, watch out, there could be some inauspicious situations there. So they were keeping that in mind. They were walking all the way back to Vrindavan, and they saw this huge body of Utana. And then, yeah, the wonder is being expressed here. And also we see in yesterday's verse how Mother Yashoda, she wanted to breastfeed Krishna. She got a great position. Who in this entire universe, in all the three universe, who could breastfeed Krishna? She had that unique position. And also we can see her mood of great Vatsalya, how she wanted to breastfeed Krishna. She wanted to protect Krishna. And also, yeah, we can also see the expressions of trying to put him to sleep and see that Krishna is in great comfort. He's very happy. So we will come back to this. There are some our acharyas have given some very interesting some of the verses expressing their mood. How Mother Yashoda, what was the conversation she had with Krishna while trying to put him to sleep. We'll come back to that. But basically, one thing we need to understand: this whole aspect of bhakti, this whole aspect of the relationship between the devotee and the Lord. Srila Prabhupada, in his Nectar of Devotion, he very nicely, in the preface, he is making the point how one can have these loving exchanges with the Lord, and how the soul can be satisfied, the soul can really be happy, the soul is hankering for happiness, the soul is hankering for pleasure, but actually where one can get that pleasure, how one can be happy. Very nicely Srila Prabhupada puts just few things I would like to read. This is from the preface of the Nectar of Devotion. Prabhupada says, Bhakti means devotional service. Every service has some attractive feature which drives the servitor progressively on and on. Every one of us within this world is perpetually engaged in some sort of service, and the impetus for such service is the pleasure we derive from it. So this is what is driving us. We all want some kind of a pleasure, so we are looking for it. We are trying our best, squeezing our senses in all directions. Somehow or other, let us be happy. Let's try to enjoy life. So exactly Prabhupada is making that point. And Prabhupada further continues. Driven by affection for his wife and children, a family man works day and night. A philanthropist works in the same way for love of the greater family, and a nationalist for the cause of his country and countrymen. That force which drives the philanthropist, the householder, and the nationalist is called rasa, or a kind of mellow relationship whose taste is very sweet. So this is the point. We see here in these chapters, as the 10th chapter it unfolds, we can see various rasas being introduced. And we can see the devotees, they are, according to their constitutional position, everyone is experiencing different mellows in relationship with the Lord. And Krishna is a perfect person who can exchange, who can give that satisfaction to the soul. No one else can do that. And till we get to this point, till we get this understanding, we will be baffled in our endeavors in this material world. So Srila Prabhupada makes the point. So he defines what is that rasa. Then further he goes on to explain, Bhakti rasa is a mellow different from the ordinary rasa enjoyed by mundane workers. Mundane workers labor very hard day and night in order to relish a certain kind of rasa which is understood as sense gratification. The relish or taste of the mundane rasa does not long endure, and therefore mundane workers are always apt to change their position of enjoyment. So this is an interesting point. Prabhupada is making the point that so people are looking for that enjoyment or for looking for that mellow, but unfortunately it is not in the right place. It appears like some enjoyment is there, some pleasure is there, but it is very, very short-lived. It's just when we compare it to the real pleasure, this is actually it is a misconception. Elsewhere in another place, Prabhupada points out pleasure is a misconception. He says it's quite a heavy statement because pleasure means you think of some happiness, but he says that the whole idea in this material world of pleasure is a misconception. So here he makes the point why it is like that, because the rasa is misplaced. So then Prabhupada goes on to explain, therefore, wanting a change for the weekend, a businessman is not satisfied by working the whole week. Therefore, wanting a change for the weekend, he goes to a place where he tries to forget his business activities. Then after the weekend is spent in forgetfulness, he again changes his position and resumes his actual business activities. So that's why, because you try for some enjoyment and then you keep going on and on, try by various methods. So one way is not giving you complete satisfaction. So you're trying another process, you keep changing. So Prabhupada says, this position of changing back and forth is technically known as bhogatyaga, which means a position of alternating sense enjoyment and renunciation. A living entity cannot steadily remain either in sense enjoyment or in renunciation. So change is going on perpetually, and we cannot be happy in either state because of our eternal constitutional position. So this is again a very interesting point. Why we are not able to be happy? Because we are not fixed in our constitutional position. Our constitutional position is to give pleasure to the Lord. We are eternal servants of Krishna. We are meant to give pleasure to the Lord, being His part and parcel. The moment we understand that and try to engage in His service, we will get the real pleasure and real happiness. And Prabhupada goes on to explain also, sometimes you may have all the situations very favorable. You may have money, you may have good family, you may have good relations, the environment, everything is very, very conducive. But then there is one problem. Actually, this situation itself is a kind of a imaginary situation. Even if all those situations are met, but then there is a problem, you have to give up everything because you have to die. So Prabhupada explains further in that preface that you have to die, you have to give up everything. So that is again another frustrating thing. So then Prabhupada explains the point, what is this? Why this bhakti rasa? Why this devotion to the Lord? Why this relationship that we revive with the Lord is the topmost thing in this entire universe? Because this is eternal. There is no end to it. There is no beginning and end. It is eternal, and that one can revive. So I'll just read that portion of it. Prabhupada says, Bhakti rasa, however, the mellow relished in the transcendental loving service of the Lord does not finish with the end of life. It continues perpetually and is therefore called Amrita. That which does not die but exists eternally. This is confirmed in all the Vedic literatures. Bhagavad Gita says that a little advancement in Bhakti rasa can save the devotee from the greatest danger, that of missing the opportunity for human life. The rasas derived from our feelings in social life, in family life, or in the greater family life of altruism, philanthropy, nationalism, socialism, communism, etc., do not guarantee that one's next life will be as a human being. So this is again another point Prabhupada is making. So, or you may be continuously trying for this rasa, this enjoyment, this mellow, but then, sir, you may have to lose this body. Having got this human form of body, you may lose this and you may end up in some other body. Again, you have to suffer in this material world. So this gives us the impetus that why we are hearing from Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. So we want to know what is that real rasa, real mellow, where we can have this bliss of eternality that we derive from hearing from Bhagavatam and from the great personalities who are experiencing this rasa, who are actually in great happiness. Brahma Saukyam Tom Anantam. So they are actually experiencing eternal happiness and they are really happy. So that is what Bhagavatam is driving us. So in this connection, in the Bhagavatam, there is a very beautiful verse how Krishna can reciprocate according to a person's realization, according to his attitude, according to his mood. Krishna can reciprocate. So he is called as Akhila Rasamrita Murti. He is the one who can actually satisfy everyone in whatever desire they approach him. So Bhagavatam explains, how when Krishna and Balaram, how they came to the arena of Kamsa while trying to, before killing Kamsa. So they came to the arena, and then so many different devotees, different people, they saw Krishna in a different way. So it is explained, Mallanam Ashanir. So the wrestlers, they saw him as lightning. Nrinam Naravaraha. So the men of Mathura, they saw him as a very powerful powerful man. Strinam Smaramurtiman. So the women, they saw him as Cupid personified. Gopanam Swajanoho. So the Gopas, they saw him as his relative. And Asatam Shitibujam. So the impious kings saw him as the Shitibujam Shasta, as a chastiser, as a punisher. Swapitroho Shishuhu. So the parents saw him as a very nice child, feeling mercy, compassion to him, mercy to him. Mrityur Bhojapate. Kamsa saw him as death personified. Virad Avidusham. So the less intelligent people, they saw him as the Virata, or as the universal form. Tattvam Param Yoginam. But the yogis, in a very neutral way, they saw him as the absolute truth. And then Vrishninam Paradhevateti. The Vrishnis, with great love and devotion, they Paradhevati, they worshipped him as the Supreme Lord. So that is that it is explained. And Vidito Rangam Gata Sagrajaha. So the Krishna, along with Balaram, he went to the arena. Now, very interesting in this purport to this verse, this actually sums up the different rasas are summed up here. So I'll just read the purport because it's quite apt. Verses are quoted in this purport. Srila Sridhara Swami quotes the following verse, which explains the 10 attitudes toward Krishna described here. Raudradbhutascha Shringaro Hasyam Viro Dhayar Tata Bhayanakascha Bibhatsaha Shanta Saprema Bhaktikaha. So we know that there are 5 primary rasas and 7 secondary rasas. So that is being explained here. So there are 10 different moods. So anger, Raudra. So who exhibited that right from this verse? The wrestlers, they were angry at him. Then Adbhutas, wonder, we are seeing in today's verse also. So this Adbhuta is seen by the men of Mathura. They saw him as Krishna as very powerful. And then Shringaro. So who experienced the Shringara rasa? So the women, they saw him as the Cupid personified. Hasyam. So the other Gopas, so they had this experience, the cowherds. So you can see in this, as this verse explains, this shloka also goes in order, explaining each and every rasa. So Viraha. So the impious kings, they saw his chivalry, the Viraha. Then Dhaya, the parents, they saw the child and they were very merciful. And Bhayanaka, the terror, was experienced by Kamsa as he was being Mrityu personified. Bibhatsaha, so the Bibhatsa, ghastliness, was experienced by the Avidusha, the less intelligent men who saw him as the Virat. And then Shantaha is experienced by the yogis who saw Krishna in that mood. And then this verse explains that Saprema Bhaktikaha. So who are those? The The Vrishnis, they adore, they with great loving devotion, they worship the Lord. So this is what is explained here. So Krishna, he can actually, he is the embodiment of all rasas. Further in the purport, the disciples of Srila Prabhupada, they are quoting, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur quotes the following Vedic statement, Raso vai saha rasam hi evayam labdhvanandihi bhavati. He himself is rasa, the taste or mellow of a particular relationship, and certainly one who achieves that rasa becomes anandi, filled with bliss. Or even one who knows that Krishna is the embodiment of all pleasure, then he becomes very blissful. So again, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur is being quoted to define the rasa. Vyatitya bhavana vartma yash chamatkara bhara bhuhu hridi satvojvale bhadam swadate saraso mataha. That which is beyond imagination, heavy with wonder and relished in the heart, shining with goodness, such is known as rasa. So rasa is being defined here. So that we see here. So the fine main rasas are the servitude, which is shanta, dasya. Then friendship, neutrality is shanta, servitude is dasya. Then friendship is sakya. Then parental love is vatsalya, and then the conjugal love is madhurya or shringara, also is being called. And the secondary rasas, as we saw in this verse, are the amazement, humor, chivalry, compassion, fury, fear, and dread. So all these 12 rasas one can experience with the Lord. So that is the point being made here. And as we discussed before, that we do not know how these great rasas are seen or Krishna can offer this. So out of ignorance, we do not know this. So we are looking for all these things elsewhere. So we are being frustrated. So that's why we open the pages of Bhagavatam. So Bhagavatam takes us through what's our constitutional position, who we are, what is our relationship with God, and how by reviving that relationship we can really be happy, because we will be able to experience these real rasas with the Lord. And what we need to do for that, we need to surrender to the Lord, we need to engage in His service, then we can experience this great amazement. So coming back to this verse, so I was just thinking that, because we have been seeing this mood of Vatsalya, see now in this verse we are seeing this mood of wonder. So I thought that we could just a little bit recollect how Bhagavatam and our acharyas are explaining the principles of these rasas. So now in today's verse we see here Tavan Nanda Dhayo Gopa. So in the meantime it is explained. In the meantime means while all these events happened in Vrindavan, Nanda Maharaj along with other Gopas, they were heading back to Vrindavan. Tavan Nandadayo Gopa Mathuraya Vrajam Gataha. So they were on the way to Mathura, and from distance, on the way when they are entering Vrindavan, they saw, what did they say? Vilokya Putana Deham. So they saw this huge body of Putana. It's like a mountain. So Babuhu Ati Vismitaha. They were completely stuck with wonder. They were, oh, what is this? What is this? What is this right in front of us? So they were totally struck with wonder. So we see here Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur, he is pointing out, we will come to Srila Prabhupada's purport. He is summarizing very nicely both the commentary of Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur and other acharyas as well. So Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur, he is explaining that the cowherd men were astonished. So first they thought that, what is this? Maybe there is a huge mountain in Vrindavan. So that is, he says that from the sky by mistake it has fallen down. That is what they were thinking. That is what Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur is pointing out. And as a result, it has crushed all the huge trees. So then he says that maybe we have been put into a spell by some witch. So that's why we are here. That is what we are seeing here. Maybe that's the reason. So he says that, or perhaps this is just a magical illusion. What is that? In Vrindavan, it's like this. Because in Vrindavan, you don't see such, this kind of a suddenly some ghastly thing. So it was very surprising for them. So they thought that maybe they are into some magical illusion. So he says that these were the doubts in the mind of the Gopas. And Srila Jiva Goswami, he is pointing out, the same thing is being pointed out by here. So that's what the end thing they said. Putana, maybe this is a mountain. That's what he also says. And he said that another point he's giving is that Vasudeva's words, what he said before, it is true. He said that there is going to be some disturbance, and whatever he says, this is looking something very strange here. So those disturbance had come true. So what he says, it comes true. Now we see Prabhupada's purport, how nicely he summarizes all these things. He says, Nanda Maharaj's wonder may be understood in various ways. First of all, the cowherd men had never seen such a gigantic body in Vrindavan, and therefore they were struck with wonder. Then they began to consider where such a body had come from, whether it had dropped from the sky, or whether by some mistake or by the power of mystic yogini, some mystic yogini, they had come to some place other than Vrindavana. So he says, so they could not guess what had happened, so they were completely stuck with wonder. So we can see Srila Prabhupada, how he summarizes and how he gives, plus his own realizations and how his own insight into the verses. So many verses we can see like that, how Srila Prabhupada's commentary is in line with the acharyas, and also his purports are pointing out exactly what is the incident that is happening. So in relation to these words, Vismitaha, Babuvuhu, it's often we can see many places, and there are many wonderful and amazing incidents that we see in the scriptures. So also our acharyas and in other places in the scriptures, there are many wonderful, amazing incidents are being mentioned. So some incidents I just like to share. So there is a work by Srila Rupa Goswami called as the Padyavali. It's an anthology of different poems. Means it is a collection of various verses, some poetry written by many great acharyas. It's a collection has been given. In that, very much so many different aspects of the Lord Krishna, about Lord Krishna's holy name, Lord Krishna's various activities, and many different topics are being discussed in that. So in that connection, there is also a section in that where it explains about the wonder that the parents of Krishna were undergoing. There are a few verses which describes that. And also I thought that in relation to yesterday's verse, when Mother Yashoda was trying to put Krishna to sleep, so in those connections also there were very nice verses. I thought we can just go through those verses, which really puts the whole context in the perspective. So in that connection, I'll just read the verses and the meaning. We'll be able to relate to that. So there is a quote from Srila Rupa Goswami. He speaks that there is a acharya by name Sri Mayura. He gives this verse: Shambho swagatam asyatam ita ito vamena padmodbhava kraunchare kushalam shukam surapate vittesha no drishyase ittam swapnagatasya kaitaba ripo shutva jananyagiraha kinkin bhalaka jalpasityanuchitang tutu kritam patuvaha. So he says, hearing sleeping Krishna say, Shiva, welcome, sit down. Brahma, you sit at my left. Kartikeya, all auspiciousness unto you. Indra, happiness to you. Kubera, I did not see you. So what is actually the situation is that Mother Yashoda, she's trying to put Krishna to sleep. Then Krishna is speaking like this. In the middle of the sleep, he's speaking like this. So Mother Yashoda she's chastised. She's saying, Mother Yashoda said, child, what nonsense are you saying? I pray these words of Mother Yashoda will protect you all. So he says that when Krishna spoke like this, she was bewildered. So she chastised Krishna. Then again, another verse which explains, Dhira dharitri bhavabharam avehi shantam. Dhira dharitri. So he says that be calm. This earth is bearing heavy load. Bhavabharam avehi shantam. Nanvesha kamsa hatakam vinipatayami. Ityadbhuta stimita gopavadhu shrutani swapnayitani Vasudeva Shishor Jayanti. Hearing Vasudeva's son Krishna say in his sleep, Mother Earth, please become calm. Again, another time he says like this, Mother Earth, please become calm. Know that your burden will certainly be removed. So Krishna says this. Have I not already practically killed the demon Kamsa? So the gopis became stunned with wonder. So that's this thing here. Adbhuta Stimita is being mentioned. The bird is there. So they were completely struck with wonder. All glories to these words of Lord Krishna who spoke in his sleep. So this is a quotation by one acharya called Sri Vasudeva. And as I told before, there is a section called Pitror Vismana Sikshadi. So these are some instructions about the wonders experienced by the parents. So this is again another interesting verse. Okay, I'll just to save time, I'll read the translation. The Gopas confidently said, I did not see Krishna at the Yamuna shore. I did not see him on Govardhana hill or at the outskirts of Vraja village. I did not see him at the base of the banyan tree. I did not see him in the courtyard of Radha's father, Maharaja Vrishabhanu. As Nanda Maharaja became struck with wonder to hear all this, smiling Krishna slipped out of the house from right under Nanda's nose. May Krishna protect you all. So how Krishna performs some activities, it's very amazing. So Vismeranya, that's the word being used here. Vismeranya Puraha. So then again, about the mood of Vatsalya is being explained by another acharya by name Sri Abhinanda. He says, Vatsastavara kandareshu vicharan dura prachare gavang hingsran vikshya purapurana purusham narayanam dhyayasi ityuktasya yashodhaya muraripor vavya jaganti spurad bhimboshta dvayaghada pidana vashad avyakta bhavam smitam. Says Mother Yashoda said, child, when you take care of the cows far away in the forest or the caves of Govardhana hill and you see dangerous wild animals, you should meditate on the ancient supreme person. So Mother Yashoda, in the mood of protecting the child, so she is advising Krishna that you please think of Narayana. He will protect you. Lord Narayana, and he will protect you. As Lord Krishna heard these words, it was only with great difficulty that he prevented a smile from appearing on his bimba fruit lips. May that suppressed smile protect all the worlds. Okay, this is again another very interesting verse. So here, Mother Yashoda is trying to put Krishna to sleep, and then here is the conversation. Ramo nama babuva hum. So here it's being narrated. So Krishna responds by saying hum. Hum means yes, okay. So Ramo nama babuva hum tad abala siteti hum tam pitur vacha panchavati vane nivasatas tasyaharad ravanaha krishnas yeti puratanim nijakatam akarnya matre titam saumitre kva dhanur iti vyagra girapantuvaha. It's beautiful. He says, there was once a king named Rama. Yes. So Krishna is responding. His wife was Sita. Yes. On the order of his father, Rama lived in the Panchavati forest. There, Ravana kidnapped Sita. So when Krishna was hearing this, immediately his response. As Lord Krishna heard his mother narrate his own activities performed in ancient times, he suddenly called out, Lakshmana, where is my bow? Where is my bow? Where is my bow? I pray these alarmed words of Lord Krishna may protect you all. So, like this, there is another verse. Shyamo Chandra Swapishi Nasisho Naitimam Adya Nidra Nidra Heto Shrunusuta Katam Kam Apurvam Kurushva Vyakta Stambhan Naraharir Abhud Dhanavam Dharayishyan Yityuktasya Smitam Udayate Devaki Nandanasya. He says, oh my rising dark moon, my child, you are not asleep. No, sleep has not yet come to me. Krishna says, listen my son, I will tell you a bedtime story that will make you fall asleep. What is the story? I have never heard. Please tell it. So he says, Mother Yashoda then told the story. When she came to the sentences, then Lord Nrsimha appeared from the pillar. Lord Nrsimha was very eager to rip the demon to shreds. A smile suddenly arose on child Krishna's lips. So these are some of the moods that are expressed by the acharyas, how the great Mother Yashoda was expressing her love to Krishna in protecting him, in pacifying him. This mood of Vatsalya is being exemplified here. And there is also another section in the Garga Samhita wherein Krishna himself, specifically this word Ati Vismitaha, is seen in one section where at the middle of the Rasa Leela, Krishna takes Srimati Radharani away, and then Krishna shares some story with Srimati Radharani. So in that there is a rishi by name Ribu. So there is a question that is inquired by Srimati Radharani about Ribu, and Krishna narrates about who is this rishi called Ribu, or the Muni Ribu. So in that he is explaining. So I'll just read few verses in connection to that. So when they were in a they were in a mountain at the time, in a lake. Krishna was explaining about the story of Ripu. So this is the background. Okay, I'll just read that. On the lake shore filled with the scent of blossoming lotuses and cooled by a gentle breeze, Lord Krishna sat down with the goddess of fortune, Sri Radha. On that lake shore was a great sage named Ribu, who for a long time had been performing austerities, standing there on one foot, his thoughts wrapped in meditation on Lord Krishna. Then Lord Krishna glanced at that sage, who had peacefully stood there without food or water for 66,000 years. Looking at the sage, Sri Radha smiled and said to Lord Krishna, "Please describe the glories of this sage. He is your devotee. Look at the devotion of this great sage." When in a loud voice Lord Krishna called, "O Ribu," the sage could not hear anything, for he was on the verge of death. Then Lord Krishna suddenly left the sage's heart. When he saw the Lord Krishna had suddenly left his meditation, the sage was astonished. Opening his eyes, the sage saw that glorious as a monsoon cloud and a lightning flash, and filled the 10 directions with light, Sri Radha and Krishna had come before him. At once standing up, the devotee sage circumambulated Sri Radha and Krishna, bowed his head before them and fell at their feet. Then with faltering words he spoke to Lord Krishna. Namak Krishnaya Krishnayai Radhayai Madhavaya cha Paripurna Atmayai cha Paripurna Atmaya cha. Sri Ribu said, "I offer my respectful obeisances to Sri Krishna and to Sri Krishna's beloved. I offer my respectful obeisances to Sri Radha and Sri Radha's lover. I offer my respectful obeisances to the Supreme Goddess and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Ghanashyamaya Devaya Shyamayai Satatam Namaha Raseshvaraya Satatam Raseshvaryai Namo Namaha." Eternally I offer my respectful obeisances to beautiful Sri Radha and to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna, dark as a monsoon cloud. Eternally I offer my respectful obeisances to the Queen of the Rasa dance. Eternally I offer my respectful obeisances to the King of the Rasa dance. Goloka Tita Leelaya Leelavatyai Namo Namaha Asankyandidi Devyai cha Sankyanda Nidaye Namaha. Obeisances to Lord Krishna, who enjoys transcendental pastimes in the realm of Gokula. Obeisances to playful Radha. Obeisances to the goddess that rules countless universes. Obeisances to the master that rules countless universes. So then he goes on to glorify Bhubara Haraya Bhuvam Gatabhyam Machantaye Chatra Samagatabhyam Parasparam Sandita Vigrahabhyam Namo Yuvabhyam Hariradikabhyam. Obeisances to youthful Sri Radha and Krishna, whose forms are transcendental, who came to the earth to remove its burden, and who came to this place to make me peaceful. So the sage glorified the Lord with great reverence and glorified that he is his eternal servant. So then Narada Muni, he explains that, he says, Ityuktva Krishna Padabje Praksharad Bhashpalochanaha Premananda Samayukto Jahau Pranan Mahamunihi. So after speaking these words, the sage, filled with bliss of love and tears streaming from his eyes, fell at Lord Krishna's feet and at once gave up his life. Then a spark of light splendid as 10 suns left the sage's body, and after wandering the 10 directions finally merged into Lord Krishna. Seeing the sage's great love and devotion for him, Lord Krishna shedding tears of bliss, loving called to him. Then the sage suddenly emerged from Lord Krishna's lotus feet, now having a transcendental form like Lord Krishna's, a form handsome as millions of Kamadevas. The sage bowed his head. With both arms merciful, Lord Krishna embraced him, holding him to his chest. Lord Krishna comforted him and touched him with his auspicious hand. So then, after circumambulating Sri Radha and Krishna, Ribhu Muni entered a beautiful chariot and went to the realm of Goloka, filling the circle of the directions with light as he went. Now, this is the important verse which I was trying to. So here it is said, Sri Radhika Vismayam Agata Brisham Drishtva Parang Muktim Ribor Mahamunehe Ananda Varini Vimunchati Chiram Jagada Krishnam Vrishabhanu Nandini. Sri Radha was filled with wonder when she saw the liberation of the great sage Ribhu Muni. Again and again shedding tears of joy, Sri Radha, the daughter of King Vrishabhanu, spoke to Lord Krishna. So then one other small incident, the same, this Putana Leela is also mentioned in the Brahma Vaivarta Purana. So there is a similar word is being used there. I'll just read that verse. As the chapter is going to end, we will be seeing what is the destination Putana is going to get, and how she got the status of the nurse being the mother. So in one verse, this great words has been used here. Babuvuhu ati vismitaha. Similar word is used here. Drishtvatam adbhutam gopa. Gopikas chati vismitaha. Kasma shrutva chatam sarvam. Vismitascha babuvaha. So all the gopis, the gopas, other personalities, they all saw what a great fortune that Putana acquired. So there is quite some background behind it. Just one line, one small phrase I will read so that you will know why they were struck with great wonder, why they were completely amazed. Because the destination that Putana got, that is one amazing thing. The second thing is that the way she went back to Goloka, that was another amazing thing. So everybody was totally struck with wonder. So it is explained, a chariot beautiful with 100 wheels and splendid with the light of many jewels. The associates of the Lord placed Putana on the chariot and took her to the realm of Goloka, the highest place in the spiritual world. So seeing this, gazing at this wonder, the Gopas and Gopis became filled with wonder. And then it is explained here that Ati Vismitaha Kamsa Shrutva Chatam Sarvam. Even Kamsa became surprised, or he struck with wonder. It is explained here. So when Kamsa heard of it, he also became filled with wonder. So that is the point. So the whole point is here that the great devotees of the Lord, they are experiencing this great rasa of Adbhuta, completely being struck with wonder. Also in the Gita we see when Krishna was revealing the Vishwarupa. So Arjuna was also struck with wonder, seeing so many demigods, all these expansions, everything. He was struck with wonder. So the point is that all this amazing rasas we can see with the Lord. So the Lord can express all this amazing rasas, and the devotee who with rapt attention engages in his service, he will be able to overcome the different emotional experiences in this material world. We have experiences of crying, we have experiences of laughter, we have experiences of going through some angry mood, or we experience some ghastliness. But all these things ends up in great suffering for us in this material world. But here, by reading the Bhagavatam, by seeing the Lord's various pastimes with his various devotees, we can see how the devotees are relishing great amazement. They were struck with wonder. And so that's why Krishna's various activities are in every moment, every second, Pratipadam, Purnamrita Swadanam. It gives us great happiness, and it is ever increasing. And not only that, it is Nitya Nutana, it's ever fresh. We might have studied this Putana Leela several times, or for that matter, any instruction or any pastime in relation to Krishna, it is ever fresh. It is always giving us great pleasure, because that is the very nature of the Supreme Lord. That is the very nature of His activities. So this is the point that the Acharyas are giving us. Hey, here is the nectar. Come on, give it a hearing. Come and relish this great bliss. So who the transcendentalists who are completely absorbed in loving devotion with Krishna, they are experiencing this great mood of pure devotional service. In fact, those who are in the conditioned state but who are trying to attain purification, they are also experiencing this great happiness by engaging in Krishna's service. And it is giving us an assurance that so many people in the past have done this. Putamad bhava magataha, vitaraga bhayakroda, manmaya maam upashitaha, bahavo jnana tapasa, putamad bhava magataha. So Krishna himself is assuring that all those great personalities before, they have given up this attachment, anger, fear, and they have engaged in my loving devotional service. They have taken up the austerities to engage in my service, and by that, Putama, they have attained purification. They have purified their existence. So the Krishna is giving us confidence. Yes, by ourselves getting into this subject matter of Krishna consciousness, we can experience great bliss, we can experience great wonder, and that will give us great satisfaction to the soul. So that we see from all this amazing pastimes, and we can further this as this pastimes unfold, we will see how Putana, that's the very specific quality of Krishna, being very compassionate even to someone who has come to kill him. Krishna is so compassionate that he has given the status of motherhood, and also he is showing to everyone that just try to come and take shelter of me. I'm there here to give protection. I'm here to give you all the happiness that you're looking for. So from a devotee perspective and from a servant perspective, our duty or our attitude in approaching the Lord is to simply give pleasure to the Lord. So this is what we understood from all these things. So as we read that, when you have time, you can maybe go through the purport of that Mallanam verse. In that purport at the end, very nicely, disciples of Srila Prabhupada, they are hitting the key point. They are summarizing the point that having the Lord providing all this amazing reciprocation to his devotee, all that we need to do. So as we heard Maharaj, His Holiness Bhakti Vikas Swami's lecture, that the point is that at this point of time, it's very bewildering for us to understand all these things. How is that Krishna can perform all these amazing, wonderful activities? Because we are in a very conditioned state. We are in ignorance. We are deeply soaked in Maya. But we should have faith in the words of the Acharyas. We should have faith in the words of the scriptures. And because this is a solution that is offered to us. So with faith, we approach, we chant the holy names, we engage in devotional service, we hear, and we follow the principles. Then, in that mood of surrender, we will definitely be able to, by the mercy of the Acharyas and by the mercy of the pure devotees and by the mercy of Prabhupada, we will be able to come out of this conditioning, and we will be able to experience the real bliss of Krishna consciousness. The bliss is already there when we come in touch with Krishna. When we do any service for Krishna, the bliss has begun. We have come out of the sufferings and the difficulties of this material world. So that is what the Bhagavatam is offering us. And also we can also be completely wonderstruck how this devotional service is so powerful. So who could have imagined in their life that Westerners are chanting Hare Krishna, or for that matter waking up early in the morning, taking bath, following the Vedic culture? Who could have imagined in India such a thing could happen? Whereas the Indian culture is now drifting towards the Western culture. So, but Srila Prabhupada did that magic. He made everyone wonderstruck. There is one anecdote when Srila Prabhupada, one person came and then told Srila Prabhupada that, I saw your disciples are fighting. And then Srila Prabhupada said that you are seeing like that, but I am surprised that they are together engaged in service, like they were together chanting the names of the Lord, and then they are glorifying the Lord, and then they are together engaged in service. And also in the Transcendental Diary, if you have read, there is one incident, Harishauri Prabhu is quoting that when the super magician P.C. Sarkar wanted to come and then perform some magic. He wanted to do some session, show for the devotees. Prabhupada very mercifully agreed it. And then he showed so many magics and other things. And Prabhupada saw that he was enjoying it. And then after the whole thing show was over, Prabhupada asked P.C. Sarkar, can you do one thing, what I did, what I can do? He said, can you stop repetition of birth, death, old age, disease? P.C. Sarkar said, that I cannot do. And Prabhupada said that, well, that I can do. So that is what Srila Prabhupada did. Srila Prabhupada did an amazing thing that he created this ISKCON, he created this great moment, and then for great conditioned souls like us who are rottering in this material world, he gave this great process of Krishna consciousness. He gave this wonderful purpose to the Srimad Bhagavatam. He wrote so many books, tirelessly worked hard day and night, and he brought us to the higher realm of Krishna consciousness. And there is real, meaningful sentiments, emotions, everything that we can see here. That what the great acharyas are offering us. Prabhupada gave us that. So that is why this we can experience more and more. The more we give oral reception to the message of Bhagavatam, the more we chant the names of Krishna, the more we engage in the service of the Lord, the more we come in the association of the devotees, then we can experience this great bliss. So that is what is given to us. So we have to be eternally indebted to Srila Prabhupada and his followers for having introduced us to this great process. Otherwise, what would have been our situation? We would have been in deep slumber of Maya. So Hare Krishna. We'll stop here. So as further verses continue, we will get to hear more nectar from this rest of this chapter, and how hearing this amazing pastime, how it purifies us, that also we'll be hearing. So we'll stop here. If you have any questions or comments, maybe take one or two. Any questions or comments or realizations, any other points to add? Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Hare Krishna.